So a little bit about myself and my company. My name is Lorenzo. I'm the owner of TwoTwo Creative. We are a graphic design and printing company out of Sicklerville, New Jersey. I look young, but I've been doing this for about 12 years, since I was 22. Hence the name TwoTwo. Became an entrepreneur when I was 22. My birthday is on the 22nd. But really why we say TwoTwo is it was my little brother and my partner's little brother that started the company, and we're still all kind of working together in some capacity. So that's why we say it's TwoTwo, because it's two families that kind of came together to start this little dream of ours to serve the small business community. But at TwoTwo Creative, we pride ourselves in building brands. And we build brands not just from building your logo, but to putting it on apparel, from screen printing and embroidery. We do all of the marketing materials, signs, banners, vehicle graphics, as well as promotional products. So we're really a one-stop shop for all of your business's branding needs. I love my business because I've grown to love the industry and the business that I'm in, because I actually look at it as we've created our own chamber of commerce, quite honestly. Over the last 12 years, we now have over 1,600 clients that we've worked with, and I can say that most of them are my friends. You know, this is so much of a relationship business, especially here in South Jersey. You don't know who somebody else knows. I barely market my business, quite honestly. Our clients do it for us. And that is why I really love our business, because it's something that everybody needs. Whether you come to us for business cards or whatever, we can do it. No job is too big or too small. But to get started, here's our logo questionnaire that we start off with for clients. I thought about bringing this because it gets people thinking about a lot of the things that you should be thinking of when you're starting a business, or even thinking about rebranding a business. So the first page is kind of just general information. You know, what's the name of your company? Do you have a slogan? What type of business are you in? But the nitty-gritty stuff comes into page 2. So page 2 is asking more questions about your brand, like what is the story behind your name? What is your mission statement? What motivated you to start this business in the first place? You know, although your why is really important and to your success of your business. If you don't have a strong why and that doesn't come through your logo and branding, I don't think you're going to make it too long. Your why is everything. So the next question on here is, why do you want a new logo and why now? That's usually more for like our rebrands. But the hard questions here to think about is, who are your top 3 competitors that come to mind? It's important to do some reconnaissance. It's important to know who you're going to be selling against. It's important to, you know, everything that we do, we're just trying to take a slice of the pie, but we need to know who's in that pie. You know, who do we need to make sure we stand out against? So thinking about who your top 3 competitors are, I always tell people, don't just look in your specific neighborhood, look across the country. Look across the country and see who in your industry is doing it amazing. Business isn't, to me, it's not innovative in the sense that somebody created something groundbreaking, right? If you think about the big brands like Amazon, what did they do good? All they did was find a better way to get us the stuff that we need than what we're used to, right? They got it to us in 2 days or less. That's really what Amazon did. Uber. Why is Uber so successful? They just made a better taxi service. Why is Airbnb successful? They just found a way to use the space that you're not using in your very own home. Or they found a better way for vacation rentals. These big brands, they're not doing anything groundbreaking. They're just finding a little bit better way to do it than the rest of the competition. So when you're thinking about your competitors, who are those competitors? What are they doing really, really well? And that kind of shows you where the opportunities are for you to put some extra effort in to be different than the rest of the guys. The next questions on the last page that I'll just touch on is creating a customer profile. You know, who are your customers? What are they usually coming from? What does it look like? What does a customer look like? For example, for us, I'll give you one client profile. One of them is a successful real estate agent who has been in the industry for some years now. She started out as just a solo agent, and now she's started to build her brand of her own. She wants to stand out from the rest. She's not like everyone else. So the example that I will show you is a brand that we just created very, very recently for Katie Horsch, which, oh, it is so small on my screen, but big on the TV. So right here. So here is the brand guidelines that we just created for Katie Horsch. Katie Horsch Real Estate is a real estate company here in South Jersey. She gave us an idea after the questionnaire of what she wanted her brand to look like. And our designers took that discovery questionnaire and they took the Stylescape, which is kind of like a Pinterest board for anybody who's familiar with Pinterest, and used those as inspiration to create the logos that you see here in front of us. One thing that I want to touch on when it comes to logo design is you notice that you see a couple different variations here, right? Your logo needs to be responsive. What I mean by that is sometimes you have a space like at the very top where you have enough room to go wide. Other times you might have a sign like this Camden County College one on the wall. You need something that's a little bit more stacked, which is kind of what that left one is. And then sometimes you just use it on your social media icon and you can't really fit that whole Katie Horsch Real Estate logo on a little icon. So it has to dumb down to just an icon. So when we're designing logos and we're telling our customers about when they're designing their logos, think about the different ways that you're going to use your logo in the different spaces. Sir? Correct. And the other thing that I tell people is know where you're going to use it. So because we're a full service print shop, we know where your logo is going to be used and the different methods that different types of media are going to need it. For example, look at the signs behind us at CVS and WSFS. You need a logo that is going to be able to read from the street, but you also need it to fit on a tiny pen. You know, that is really important. People don't think about when they shrink it down to a pen, how is my logo going to read? And that is really, really important. As a print shop, we started out as a print shop and now we have 4 full-time graphic designers. And that's why we really go after these logos and rebrands, is because we understand all the different ways that you're going to use your logo. We make sure that you don't create a logo that works great now, but then you go to your screen printer or you go to your promotional product vendor and they're like, oh, that's not going to work. You know, that's really, really important, is making sure that your logo is also print ready. I know most people are going to be using it online and stuff like that, but once they want to put shirts, once they want to get embroidery done, when they have to get a sign or a promotional product, if it doesn't work as a one color logo, see the black and white versions, they're going to run into trouble because screen printing and promotional product printing is priced per color. They get the price back and they're like, oh my God, that's astronomical. Well, you have like 18 different colors in your logo and you're going to pay for each one of those. So when we draft concepts, we always make sure that it's first works in black and white, and then we start to add colors to it to make it pop and get it to where they want. So those are things that we kind of look for in logos. Does anybody else have any questions as far as logo design goes? Hearing anything? All right. Well, I've got some time after this. What else do you guys want to touch on today? Is there anything specifically? Do you guys want to talk about print work? Do you guys want to talk about some strategies? Open the book. Yeah. Well, big part of that is not putting so much text. You know, if you're going down that road at 35 miles an hour, you don't have much time for someone to read what's on your storefront. If it's been to Runnymede, one of our clients owns the Mile down in Runnymede, Dave Welsh, very good friend of mine. You don't have much time, and there's not a lot of foot traffic on that road right now. So I'll show you an example of some window graphics that we just did. I didn't do that, so I can't say much there. But you know, all they gave me was a logo and some palm trees, but our designers were able to do something with the windows to make it a lot more visually appealing when you're driving down that road, right? You may not be able to read that stuff because, let's be honest, if you're driving down 35 miles an hour, you're not going to read any of the things that is on the actual windows. But you're going to notice some wavy palm trees and things like that when you're driving down. So like make it more visually appealing and make it stand out from the rest. If you just got a whole bunch of text, well, nobody's going to see it. It's going to look like a book on your windows, right? Nobody's got time to do that. But find a way to use the branding or create some branding to make it very visually appealing so that people then slow down or maybe take a second to park on the side of the street and check out what those businesses are. Other things that you could do for Runnymede is the use of some A-frame signs. Some A-frames out front of the storefronts would be great. I think one of the challenges is how to get people walking in Runnymede. It's not a walking town, really. It's a pretty long street. It's not a Haddonfield. It's not a Collingswood. And public parking isn't really that prominent in Runnymede. So you're not getting, that's a challenge. Collingswood's a little lucky because they have all that public parking right there underneath the railroad tracks. So like, again, I think it's a lot of influence and actual networking and relationship building. Dave Welsh does a really amazing job with his businesses because he also has the Running Co. How many Running Co's are there? I think there's 4 or 5 of them, and he has a community of runners. So I don't think he even promotes the Mile or his new restaurant that's opening up, that he has those 2. But imagine if he did. He just takes that whole community with thousands of members and say, hey guys, you're finished your run, come to the Mile for a free beer. How many people are going to come to that afterwards? It's finding that way. Runnymede's got a little bit of a challenge just because it's not a walking town. I think Runnymede's kind of got a main street similar to Williamstown. Similar challenge to Williamstown's main street. There could be a lot of potential there, but got to get the restaurants there. We need that parking, and we got to make it a destination. There's got to be more things for people to do on that main street and not just the Toyota in Runnymede. Cool. We got the Philly Diner, but we need a couple more things. Guys should try to get Kitchen 519 to move down onto the main road. Kitchen 519 is one of my favorite customers. They feed me real well every time I go there, and you won't think that you get that level of meal right there in Glendora. I guess it's Glendora. But if they could move onto the main drag, that would be huge. We got to get just some more businesses that people want to make a destination. It's a changing time. People don't even go to the mall anymore, really. So what's going to get them out of their house and get them excited? Well, it's got to be things that people do on a regular basis. They got to eat. That laundromat, I think, does well. I think it's like Luca's Laundry, if I'm not, and it looked great. They invested money into it. It wasn't just your run-of-the-mill laundromat that popped up. I think they did a great job with their logo and branding. I think they got bubbles on the window and stuff, if I'm not mistaken. So again, I paid attention to that one. I've never gone to that laundromat. They're not one of my customers, but because their building is visually appealing, I've noticed it when I drive by. That how many businesses are on that street? I named a laundromat as one of them, and it's because they did a good job with their logo and branding. It's important.
Are there colors, fonts, or designs that the market leans to that seem to do better than others?
Not really, because like you can get into color theory of like certain colors mean certain things that get certain emotions. But if I have a customer that comes to me like that, I'll tell them flat out, go get a job. I'll tell them flat out, go get a job, because if you don't know what your business wants to look like, what you want to serve, what you want your customers to feel when they go to your place of business, go get a job, because you're going to fail. You're just setting yourself up to dig a hole, and you're going to be 6 feet under filing for bankruptcy. So I don't think that was the best answer for you, but that would be my answer.
I guess it starts with some passion.
Yeah, absolutely. It starts with passion. We've got one customer that just came to us, OK Charlie's. It's a barbecue place, and he just does it for catering. And I'm like, man, this stuff is really good. He's like, I know. I just need to keep building it a little bit more until I can make it a calculated risk or a calculated investment into building that storefront. But it's a lot of money that goes into building a restaurant for sure. But encourage them to start small. Like I like what you guys are doing here of trying to get people out and educated on how to build a good business. I think it starts that way. They gotta, in my experience, the customers that don't stay with us, they don't stay with us because they don't like our service. They don't stay with us because they died, you know. And I knew that they were going to die because they're really good at what they do, but they have no idea how to run a business. They have no idea to go from Joe the plumber to Joe's plumbing. They have no idea how to make that step, and that's I got. I never thought I would be doing this. I never thought I would own a graphic design print shop. I am a Penn State dropout. I was an engineering student, and I engineered a lot of drinks instead. Yeah, I didn't even get there. My parents said, "Come home. You wasted enough money." So like, I did not think I could do this. I ended up before I owned TwoTwo Creative. My first job was at a Postnet franchise, kind of like a UPS store. I started in Sicklerville. That was my first job in high school. And when I failed out and I turned 22, I got offered the opportunity to buy it. And there was always a Postnet that was about 15 minutes away, and they were one of the top producing stores in the country. And I said, "Why do we suck and he's awesome?" So I just studied. I was like, what are these other Postnets doing well? And they all went after graphic design and printing. I had no graphic design background and never ran a printer other than to print my homework out. And I said, okay, let me figure this out. But what I ended up learning is that TwoTwo Creative as a print shop, we get to help people. We get to influence the community by helping someone accomplish their dream of starting a business. And then that business ends up hiring people in the community and serving all of the people in their community. I take great pride in what we do when I see a customer go from, hey, we outgrew that next location. Can you come out and outfit the next one? I take so much pride in that because now I know that business is thriving in the community and that business is giving back and hiring more people.
Okay, you said something, your clients or your friends.
Yeah.
To me, that's networking, but I'd like to find out what is your secret on making clients friends? Because it's one thing to have clients.
Yeah.
A lot of businesses expect to have clients, but when you have friends, then you get repeat business, you get referrals,
Yeah.
and other things like that.
I'm young. I am 34. When I started the business when I was 22, I didn't know much. There's no degree to become an entrepreneur. Nobody teaches you these things. So I used my customers as my mentors. And I asked them and I said, hey, I'm dealing with this. Have you seen this before? And that just, it spurred a different kind of friendship. They're like, this guy thinks of me and he values my advice. They saw that I was a hustler, but I wasn't afraid to ask questions. And I just earned their respect that way. And that turned into, hey, let's go grab drinks. Hey, let's go. I've been in multiple of my customers' weddings. Now I don't know what to do because I'm like, they asked me to be groomsman. I'm like, dude, I can't ask all of you to be my groomsman. Like, what? And it just started out with a simple like, hey, I need an order of business cards a lot of the times. And it turned into me being in their wedding. I'm like, this is crazy, but like, I guess this is business, you know? It's been fun. I think hopefully I answered that question pretty good. But
There's a lot you're not sharing.
well, we'll have to share a glass of tequila or something and I can tell you more. Absolutely. Any other questions, guys? That it could be of service to any of you guys. I think Runnymede has got a lot of potential. It just needs a little bit of help. Hopefully, it's not like Williamstown and can get the politics out of the way.
So let me ask you a bigger
yeah.
question. So if you, one of the things that I think commerce is how to
brand the whole town.
Zoom out. So what do we? How do we zero in?
Well, what makes Runnymede Runnymede? You know, it's kind of like Blackwood has the Pumpkin Festival. They make it a great place for you to live, but they don't have a lot of businesses. It's tough to find line to balance there. South Jersey, we have a lot of communities where it's like Haddonfield. You go there for to eat, but and then you're way overpaying for a house, and the property tax is there. But it's still there's not that many businesses. The only places that are like thriving with business and barely is like Cherry Hill. That's where most of the businesses in South Jersey are. It's just like creating an identity around what you want Runnymede to be, and then back reverse engineer it. If you want it to be that family destination that has things to do for families, okay, cool. What kind of businesses fit those molds, and how can we attract them? What are they looking for? Uh, Stuff. And Runnymede's where does it start and where does it end on that main drag?
It would start at the New Jersey
Yep.
Turnpike. Yes, great. And then it would go through to Road
To okay.
So that's our main drag. That's 1 mile.
So it's long, but it's not very wide, right? Because you got Deptford and then you've got Barrington, right?
So it's like bridges.
Yeah,
And then on the other end, like
yeah.
last.
I talk to Dave about it sometimes. He's asked me, it's like, how do I get more people to the Mile? Because I love the Mile. It's a very unique place. There's not many bars like the Mile. Um, but again, it's just like, how do you attract more people to make Runnymede a destination? You got to figure that main thing out. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. That's what most towns do.
What businesses would you suggest? Like what ideas?
Oh, it's so expensive to open up a restaurant right now. So like, it's tough to say restaurants is my number one thing, but how many people want to take the risk of opening up a restaurant right now? Not many. Um, Finding some more things to do, maybe some like family activities, some things for education for the kids, after school activities. Find out then, because if the kids are getting dropped off, well, the parents now need something to do in the town for at least an hour or two while their kids are in one of those classes. Say follow the kids, follow the kids, and then figure out where the parents will spend money after that.
Good point. So we just had a photo contest and we put out where I wanted to say what one we had a whole lot of pictures
Yeah,
and a whole lot of kids, adults, pets, and we can go with that.
yeah. And you need an anchor. You need an anchor that's going to really drive the traffic. Like Gloucester Township has the outlets. That is right off of 42. It drives people to that area. But then after that, they don't spill over much into the businesses that are right outside those outlets. But if you can figure out maybe not just one big anchor, but like a couple smaller anchors that have the opportunity to have that longevity, that's great. I think like off there, isn't there some old warehouse space that's not really being used much? My paper suppliers, possibly, but I think that's Barrington at that point. Pontiac Paper is where I used to. You guys know Howard? Howard, yeah, is Howard still going? I don't know.
Those businesses where kids go, there's all jumping and there's
The
all
trampoline park,
trampoline
but there you got one right in Deptford. And that guy, the guy who owns the one in Deptford, is Jason Avant. He's the ex-Eagle player. So that's stiff competition. But what's the next best thing than a trampoline park? Because you can only go to a trampoline park so many times. What else you got? What else can we stick there? It's got to be something fun, family fun. Yeah. Yeah, pickleball is big right now. Pickleball courts.
But it's mostly people from out of town.
Because there's not many pickleball courts. Yeah, it's a good thing.
People coming from out of town to
Yeah.
our restaurants and to our, other places.
Maybe you would pay people that come to pickleball to give them like coupons or give them something for local businesses.
Yeah.
On a Saturday or Sunday morning, that might not be.
Does Runnymede have a big gym?
Yeah, but we have a, I don't know, is it big? Like,
You don't have like an Edge Fitness or like a LA Fitness.
It was near the division of Naval Powerhouse Gym.
Yeah, like that's one that a lot of people go to, for sure. That could be a potential anchor. I know my girlfriend has tried 5 different gyms in the last week to try to figure out which one she wants to go to. She literally went to every gym within 15 minutes of our house. So like that could potentially be one. Um, that's a big driver. I mean, the good thing is I don't think in Runnymede you have a lot of empty big retail. You don't have like a lot of empty Kmart's like there was in Peru. Yeah, yeah. So I mean, like it's not like you're trying to find those big tenants. You just need to figure out how to build a tighter knit small business community. That's it. What what does the town of Runnymede need? Like, have you asked the residents, hey, what do you need? What's not here? That was going to be my next suggestion. I would love I want to own a coffee shop. That's one of my goals on my list. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, the online daters at the coffee shop?
Yeah.
Well, that's great though. There's still there's a lot of online daters. They also wanted like a venue for music and for
I do see that coming up more. It's venues that people can just rent out for whatever occasion. Um, yeah, Main Stage Center of the Arts is a big one. Yep. In our area, I think the biggest one is Main Stage Center for the Arts in Blackwood. Yep. 25 plus years. I've known the executive director for a long time. Mm-hmm. Yeah. They rent out the Camden County Theater for their big productions. Kids are so talented. Yep. They're very, very. That's a great one. I love the coffee shop idea. Need to get some parking. They'll need a huge amount of parking though. You know, a lot of these Starbucks don't have big parking because you don't want big parking because that means they're just going to sit there. You need to move them through. Yeah, but there's no craft coffee shops in the area. I have to go all the way to Haddonfield when I want that, or Harvest up in Voorhees, the Echelon Mall. Well, I guess it's not the Echelon Mall anymore, but you guys know where that one's at. They're a great one. They have 2 locations. I think one's in Medford and one's at the Echelon Mall. Harvest? Harvest. Yeah. No. On that, where all those restaurants are? Yeah.
And we do have street parking, but we don't have it illegal.
Yeah. Yeah, which is a big plus compared to a town like Williamstown. I keep bringing up Williamstown because like I've known that they've been struggling with it for so long. They just won't get out of their own way and like actually develop it.
And we also have a municipal building where there's public parking.
Correct. Right at the corner, right?
And if we had that, then
Mm-hmm. That.
we have parking, we just have to let people know. We need better signage.
Yeah. 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 Some better signage, some striping. I mean, look at some of the towns that have put up some places like Glassboro. Glassboro is a great example. They built that whole downtown. What not to put in there? The Hollywood Tans didn't make it. Don't put a tanning salon. That one didn't make it. Most of the things for the kids did make it. I'm pretty sure the virtual arcade is still there. That one's a cool one. You know what's really big is esports. Esports. Yeah, video games is turning into a sport. Like if there could be like an esports arena or something like that in the area. You know, I have one client who does all the networking and the videos and stuff, like all the video equipment, anything like pretty much here that you see. There are school districts who are building an esports lab in these schools.
Oh, wow.
And they are dropping like $1 million on these esports rooms. It's insane.
There's a room quite above us.
For
In this
esports?
building, that's what it is.
Yeah. And Runnymede is very accessible. You've got 42, the Turnpike, 295, it's all there. So like there's opportunity. It's easy to get to. That's a big one. Oh, got some things. Well, thank you guys. I really appreciate the opportunity. Hopefully I was able to teach everybody and give some feedback. Yeah, if I can help anybody, let me know.